Now, you talked a little bit about women in ufology and in science fiction, and I thought it's interesting lately that there are an increase in dystopian movies coming out that have strong female characters at their center, like The Hunger Games, Divergent, even The Host. Although I don't know if she was a strong female character or not because I didn't see it. But the problem could be that these are very centered on the romances in the novels and in the movies, and they're not so focused on the mythologies, so it's kind of science fiction light. Do you think that these movies are positive for the feminist movement or negative for the feminist movement, or kind of a draw?
I would say, I mean, it does depend on the movie. I mean, overall, I actually think things are heading in a direction of being more positive. I do look at Katniss from the Hunger Games books and say, like, she's pretty kick butt. She's a very strong character, and yes, there are these love interests, but I don't think that detracts from her awesomeness, her strength. I mean, it's okay. She can manage a relationship or two relationships or whatever and still be a strong character, And I actually think it would be counterproductive if we suddenly had these female protagonists that said, okay, in order to be strong, you can't have any love life or romantic entanglements, And you see that with male heroes as well. Like, there's always some sort of love interest, We just like to see romance on screen. But as far as the other franchises you mentioned, I think it gets more leading female characters out there, and I think that is overall a good thing and a positive thing. And I actually think that audiences are very vocal and wanting that right now. So if something comes out that is going to be, very negative towards women and towards the feminist movement, I think you're going to hear about it. I mean, I'm thinking off the head, this website called the Mary Sue, which I like, which is not strictly about feminism or female characters in sci-fi and genre work, but it does touch on that. And man, if something comes out that's disrespectful, you will hear about it, as you should.
But don't you think that movies, maybe not so much The Hunger Games, but especially movies like Divergent or The Host, that there's much more of a focus on the love interest than there are with movies with male protagonists?
Sure, I will accept that. I will agree with you there. There are also movies that are targeting a younger demographic and are based on these tween or YA books. So yeah, they are more. I agree. They are more focused on romance.
Because Ender's Game is aimed at a younger demographic, and that doesn't focus on romance nearly as much, at least.
Yeah, that's also an older book. Maybe the question is, all these recent entries. Maybe they're more focused on that. But I mean, I don't know. We also are talking about the creators are women creators, female creators that are doing these things, and they're widely popular, like massively popular.
So is 50 Shades of Grey.
I agree. It is. I mean, look, I'm not going to wade in the waters about whether or not 50 Shades of Grey is good or pro-feminist or anti-feminist, because that gets into an area that I honestly still get confused about myself. I mean, if we want to go there, with 50 Shades of Grey, I read it and I was kind of appalled by it, but I also sort of thought, like, and for the folks at home, I read it because it's sort of homework and you just have to do it for my kind of job. Yes, I try to stay up to date. I read the Twilight books as well. But it is a matter of choice as far as the female character, in that she is choosing to pursue what I think is a really toxic relationship with Christian Grey. But I don't claim to be a expert on feminist topics. It confuses me at times. I admit, I'm trying to understand and be good about this stuff and figure it out, but I am confused, and I am confused about the topics that you mentioned as well, because I see that as well, and it's sometimes a little perplexing.
So why don't you think that there so many female superheroes. There's the one coming out with Black Widow, but for the most part, the superhero movies we've been seeing are still completely male dominated. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, and it's superhero movies, not comics. I mean, comics have like a lot of strong female characters.
But they're much more sexualized than their male counterparts.
Overall, yes. In the long arc of history within comics, yes, they are, and they're getting better. And we're getting a lot of, she's not recent, but Gail Simone is, a great creator, a great, comic writer, and she writes great dialogue for female superheroes. I like. She was doing a Batman arc recently that I liked. So why are we not seeing more strong female superheroes? I think, honestly, it goes back to a studio system that thinks Wonder Woman can't sell a picture, it can't open a movie, And I disagree with that. I mean, Wonder Woman is part of a third of the holy trinity of DC Comics, along with Batman and Superman. She's super strong, she's super awesome. I really think she could open a movie, but I just think that it's Hollywood doesn't sometimes have faith in its own properties. As far as Black Widow, it astounds me that Black Widow, who is not as well known in the mainstream. I mean, I knew her. I've known about the character for a long time, but the mainstream didn't really know too much about her before she arrived on the scene in Iron Man 2. That she's probably going to get a solo pick before Wonder Woman. That's astounding to me. I mean, I have faith in Wonder Woman. I think she should open a movie, should be included, and maybe that's where Katniss Everdeen is sort of our superhero, our female superhero, or looking to the Joss Whedonverse, for and that's more in TV, but seeing characters like River Tam in Firefly, who is pretty strong. I mean, she has her challenges and everything, but a lot of Whedon's characters.
And Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy, of course. Yeah, I mean, and I think also it's because he's not treating them as strong female characters. They're just strong characters regardless of their gender, But I am appalled by that as well.
I saw in a recent PBS Ideas channel video that we wrote up that superheroes are representative of our great man theory of history. And what do you think about that?
Oh, wow, that's deep. I don't know. Representative of our great man theory of history. I could see that until you get into like a lot of the anti-heroes. I mean, I think that, when you look at what we want from Batman anymore, instead we want sort of like the anti-hero or the Walter White of the superhero world. So, and I don't know if that phrase has ever been uttered before, but there you go, the Walter White of the superhero world. But I think maybe that's it. I agree until you get into like really modern superhero stories.
Or like how everyone's favorite is Loki?
Yeah, Loki. I mean, he's a bad guy. I mean, he's really a bad guy, but we love him.